Whoa, hey, before you scroll away, just stop right there. I promise you, this is not just another piece of AI slob taking up space on your feed. We're diving into a highly informative, totally hands-on explainer breaking down literally the biggest gaming release of the entire year. Look, for decades, GoldenEye has been the undisputed, untouchable king of spy games. But has that king actually finally been dethroned? Go ahead and smash that like button right now because we are going to get to the absolute bottom of this. Okay, let's just get right into it. It has been a staggering 14-year hiatus since we got a proper James Bond game. 14 years! Now, IO Interactive, the legendary studio behind the Hitman franchise, has finally dropped 007 First Light. But its release immediately raises this massive question that reviewers are all kind of wrestling with right now. Can a more linear, heavily cinematic action game actually beat the open-world, sandbox genius that Hitman is so famous for? Well, critics are already definitively answering that question, and they are absolutely losing their minds. Just look at the word on the street, like Gfinity's glowing 10 out of 10 review. They are straight up calling this the greatest Bond video game of all time. No joke. The gaming world isn't just treating this release as, a pretty good licensed game. They're treating it as an absolute masterpiece. It's totally shattered all those pre-release anxieties and is already being heralded as a surefire Game of the Year contender. Man, we have been waiting a really long time for this moment. Back in 2012, the franchise basically just flatlined in the gaming world. Then IO Interactive announced this massive project back in 2020, and now, finally in 2026, it is actually here. But they took a super unique approach. This isn't the seasoned, ultra-confident veteran Bond we usually see. First Light actually explores the origin story of a raw, unproven 26-year-old operative who honestly hasn't even earned his 00 status yet. And he is played just magnetically by actor Patrick Gibson. He brings this completely fresh, kind of naive, but wildly charismatic energy to the role that just works so well. Now here's the kicker. It doesn't just play well, it looks completely unbelievable. The Independent literally called the lighting astonishing and a total feast for the eyes. IO Interactive used their incredibly powerful proprietary Glacier engine to create this insane globetrotting epic. We're talking everything from freezing Icelandic bases to ridiculously opulent Parisian hotels and super lush Vietnamese spas. And if you play this on a high-end PC or a PS5 Pro using that new PSSR AI upscaling, the reflections and shadows are just flawless. But hey, before we go any further, I really want to hear from you. Jump into the comments right now and tell me, do you prefer playing as a young rookie Bond who actually makes mistakes, or do you want the seasoned, flawless veteran we see in the classic movies? Let me know down below.
Section 1. Fists, Gadgets, and Guns. A Bond game is absolutely nothing without the tools of the trade, right? Well, IO Interactive has crafted an incredibly polished gameplay loop where you seamlessly transition between 4 totally distinct modes. First, you've got social stealth, where you're donning disguises and sneaking through restricted VIP areas. But if things go south, it drops instantly into brutal barroom brawling. We're talking sleeping dog style, chaotic melee where you're grabbing keyboards, coffee mugs, bottles, whatever you can find to smash over enemies' heads. Then you have Q-Watch Spycraft, letting you hack devices and blind guards with lasers. And finally, when you get the license to kill, you drop into high-octane, Uncharted-inspired gunplay that just feels incredibly punchy and satisfying.
Honestly, what's totally fascinating is how the game handles your mistakes. In an old-school stealth game, getting spotted meant instant failure, right? Game over. But in First Light, we have this highly praised bluffing mechanic. Check this out. Step 1, you get caught. Step 2, instead of shooting, you hit a button, and Bond improvises this charming, usually hilarious lie right on the spot. Step 3, the guards get totally confused and you just slip right past them. It is quite literally the most uniquely Bond-esque mechanic imaginable. It captures that cinematic swagger perfectly.
But you might be wondering what happens when that 15-hour main story campaign is actually over. Well, that brings us to TacSim mode. Tactical simulations are basically these virtual reality training modules set deep inside MI6's QLab. And this right here is where IO Interactive caters directly to their hardcore Hitman fans. It offers endless, highly replayable sandbox challenges. You get to return to the levels you already beat, complete these super specific, weird sub-objectives, and unlock brand new gear and suits. It's a total blast.
Take a quick second right now to share this explainer with your co-op buddies or your regular gaming group because they absolutely need to know about these modes. But listen up, even the absolute greatest super spies have hidden flaws in their operations, and First Light is definitely no exception.
Section 2. Not quite a Hitman sandbox.
So there's a massive shift in level design here that actually surprised and even disappointed a few diehard fans. The expectation was that IO Interactive would basically just make a James Bond reskin of Hitman, right? Like infinite open-ended sandbox replayability where you could easily spend 10 hours messing around in a single map. But the reality, First Light is a 15-hour, highly directed, cinematic story that is way closer to Uncharted. It guides you aggressively from set piece to set piece. You're exploring, fighting, and moving on, rather than endlessly looping through a giant puzzle box.
And because of this heavily cinematic approach, the pacing can occasionally take a real hit. Kotaku pointed out that narrative mysteries, stuff that would usually be solved in 20 minutes of a Bond movie, are stretched agonizingly across 10 hours of gameplay. Reviewers also widely noted that the villains feel a bit perfunctory and underwritten, especially compared to the phenomenal main cast. On top of that, the early hours of hand-to-hand combat can actually feel a little rigid and simplistic until you finally unlock Bond's full suite of combo moves much later in the game.
Okay, real quick technical warning for you guys. You need to choose your settings very wisely. Multiple outlets have noted that the Xbox Series X quality mode suffers from a pretty juddery presentation and some severe frame drops. If you are playing on a console, the universal advice right now is to stick strictly to performance mode to guarantee a smooth 60 frames per second. Or, better yet, play it on a high-end PC where reviewers are saying the optimization is practically flawless.
Section 3. The Ultimate Bond Verdict.
Look, IO Interactive took a massive, genuinely terrifying risk by abandoning their beloved sandbox formula. But did it pay off? The proof is absolutely in the review aggregates. We're looking at a 91 out of 100 on OpenCritic, an 88 on Metacritic, and stellar standalone scores for both the PS5 and PC versions. Yes, it abandons some of that infinite replayability we all loved, but it successfully forges a brilliant new path. It proves, without a shadow of a doubt, that nobody does it better than IO Interactive when it comes to the espionage genre. So I guess the only thing left to ask is this. Are you ready to earn your 00 status? It is officially time to step into the tuxedo and see for yourself. Make sure to hit subscribe right now so you never miss another one of our deep dives, and go ahead and click the explainer on your screen to keep learning. I will see you over there.